Good afternoon. Here is the national news from BGI TV, Babagide Imo TV. I am Moriwe Rebila Lawal. Today, the 24th day in the month of September 2022. First are the major headlines for the national news. Nigeria, a failed state. Yoruba Igbo Middle Belt group tells world leaders. Ondo conduct mass burial for 496 unclaimed corpses. IPOB, Kanu must not die in prison, or Amnese warns. Strike, no going back on protest, Nans dares Kaduna state government. ISWAP kills 2 Boko Haram commanders in Borno State. As regards sports, Algeria versus Nigeria, Super Eagles Old Force training in Constantine. And second sports story, Toby Amuson becomes first Nigerian to hold athletic world record. The news in detail. A collision of socio-cultural and self-determination groups from the south and middle belt of Nigeria has told world powers and leaders of thought that Nigeria is a failed state. They also enjoin them not to allow President Muhammadu Buhari to cajole them when he addresses them during the ongoing 77th edition of United Nations General Assembly, UNGA, in New York, United States of America today. The coalition reached their resolution at an emergency virtual meeting held yesterday with focus on the ongoing UNGA. Its members include the Odua People's Sovereign Movement, OPSOM, Igbo National Council, INC, Middle Belt Patriotic Front, MBPF, Freedom from Nigeria, FFN, Chilos Godsend, CG, and National Council for Women's Society, NCWS. The resolution was made known to journalists by its spokesperson, Dr. Ngozi Orabweze, in a statement which read, "We are stating without any fear or favor that Nigeria of today is a failed state in all ramifications. On security, the entire North has been captured with the Middle Belt, while the South has been encircled waiting to explode. Despite its claim as the giant of Africa, the economy of the country is now homogeneous and bleeding. The economy of Nigeria has turned majority of our young ladies who are graduates to prostitutes." Moving on to the next story. The Ondo State government has carried out a mass burial for no fewer than 496 unclaimed corpses in health facilities in the state. It was gathered that the move was geared towards decongesting the morgues at the Akure and Ondo complexes of the State University of Medical Science Teaching Hospital, UNIMEDS. According to BC Lawani, Head, Press Unit and Public Relations, Ministry of Health in the state, the mass burial was a follow-up to an assessment tour of morgues in the 2 hospitals. While briefing newsmen on the development, the special advisor to Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu to Health, Professor Dayo Fadulile, expressed dismay over the gory state of the morgues, which were jam-packed with unclaimed bodies spanning a year and above. Faduli emphasized that the development led him to strongly encourage Akeredolu's son to digitize and renovate the morgues immediately, which he claimed had turned into an eyesore. The special advisor added that the governor did not think twice about approving the letter to carry out the suggested mass burial activities in order to prevent outbreak of epidemic diseases in the states. Moving on to the next story as regards the detention of Nnamdi Kanu. Apex Igbo Socio-Political Organization, or Aneze Ndibo, yesterday condemned the alleged continued denial of leader of indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, medical attention despite the directive of the courts. Ohaneze warned the federal government of implications of allowing any harm come upon Kanu by not allowing his personal doctors access to him, nor allowing him to access the required drugs for his ailments. Reacting to the information released by Kanu's lawyer, Ifeanyi Ejiafo, on Monday on the deplorable state of the IPOB leader's health, Ohaneze expressed worry that the Department of State Services, DSS, was allegedly treating with utmost contempt and disdain an existing court order that specifically directed that Kanu must be granted access to his doctor. Calling on the government to be mindful of its actions against Kanu, Ohaneze said, "It is a common knowledge that the incarceration of Nnamdi Kanu has rather contributed to the enormity of insecurity in the southeast, and one wonders what will happen if the utter carelessness, negligence, and unnecessary victimization, something untoward happens to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu." Moving on to the next story as regards the national news from the ASU strike. Following a prolonged strike embarked upon by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, the National Association of Nigerian Students, NAS, Kaduna has called on students of respective schools to assemble on the 24th September 2022 for the total shutdown of Kaduna-Abuja Road. In a statement issued on Wednesday, the Student Task Force Chairman, Comrade Dominic Philip, said the protest would begin from Kaduna Expressway and end at Goningora by Federal Cooperative College, Kaduna. Following these, he invited all national ESCOs, zonal ESCOs in Kaduna, JCC ESCOs, SUGs and SRC executives, parents, good-spirited countrymen and women. However, the Kaduna State government on Tuesday night warned against the danger associated with such a protest as Kaduna is a fragile state. The State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Anwa, in a statement said that planned action by any group or individual was unacceptable. He added that citizens may kindly be reminded that collective security should remain the first and most important consideration at all times. If you are just joining, you are watching the national news from BGI TV. From that story, we go to some form of insecurity story between the ISWAP and Boko Haram. The Islamic State of West African Province, ISWAP, has eliminated 2 officials of Boko Haram, Abu Hamza Munzir and Abu Ibrahim Nakib, when they stormed the enclaves of the rival faction at midnight on September 17, 2022, in Gaizua in Bama local government. It was gathered that the 2 commanders were executed in silent operations by the ISWAP, as the remains were found in their homes in the early morning of September 18th. Zagazola Makama, a counter-insurgency expert and security analyst in Lake Chad, said before the latest attack, Boko Haram had vowed to revenge the killing of 29 terrorists, including a top commander ambushed by the ISWAP terrorists. Content sources disclosed that Boko Haram later invited more than 70 fighters from the axis of Mafa, Katkut, Sheway, Lawe, Kadoria, Kirwa, and Amtifo to help them carry out the reprisal attack against the ISWAP. The source said they divided themselves into 2 groups before taking off from Gaizua. From the insecurity story, we will go to sports story. The Super Eagles held their first training session on Tuesday evening ahead of the double-header friendlies against the Desert Foxes of Algeria. 18 players took part in the exercise under the supervision of head coach Jose Pacero. More players are expected in camp on Tuesday night. That was yesterday. The team's camp opened on Monday with a joke split of Croatian defender Chidozie Awazim, the first to arrive. The Super Eagles will take on the Desert Forces in the first friendly on Friday at the Mohammed Malul Stadium, Constantine. Algeria will field their local-based players in the game, sources claim. The second friendly is billed for next Tuesday at the Melod Adafi Stadium, Oran. It will be against Algeria's Team A led by Manchester City winger Riyad Mahrez. Moving on to the second sports story as regards a Nigerian. The world record set by Nigerian athlete Tobi Amujo has now been ratified officially by the sanctioning body Athletic Championship in Oregon earlier in the year. It was a huge leap for Amujo as she beats the record of 12.20 that was set in London in 2016 by Kendra Harrison of the United States of America, USA. In the final, Amujo followed up the semi-final feat with a wind-assisted 12.06, 2.5 meter-seconds, becoming world champion in the 100-meter women's hurdles. The record by Amujo came under scrutiny by several top celebrities, including the legendary Michael Johnson. That concludes the national news from BGI TV. Before we go, some major headlines. Nigeria, a failed state, Yoruba, Igbo, Middle Belt group tells world leaders. Ondo conduct mass burial for 496 unclaimed corpses. We also brought to you, Kanu must not die in prison, or Aneze warns. And on sports, Tobi Amujo becomes fourth Nigerian to hold athletic world record. For more updates, kindly link up on YouTube. Our handle is Bagede Imo TV. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell, select option all to access our broadcast. On Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. On Instagram, Bagede Imo _22 for advert placement of your goods and services, coverage of events and function. Please dial the phone number streaming on your screen for advert placement only. I am Morire Rebila Lawal. Good afternoon.